Welcome into the Sporting News Studios. I'm Tom Vandervoort with our college basketball writer, Mike DeCourcy. Mike, we're looking at some of the top teams in America as we head into the college basketball season. Louisville, number 2 in our Sporting News preseason poll. What makes Louisville so good in your mind?
Well, they have a great will. That's where it starts with them. They developed that 2 years ago when they won a lot of games late, that a lot of that seemed like they were over, particularly a huge comeback in the final 4.5 minutes against Marquette from 15 down. When they started to do that, they started to show they had great will. They showed it again in the Florida game in the Elite Eight. That's who they are as a team. When they have that collective will and you add talent, Shane Bohannon came in last year, the improvement of Gorgui Dieng. This year they get Montrezl Harrell. Those guys elevate that will from will just on that level to talented players who really play for each other, play for their team, play for their coach. You add that all together, you get a great team.
Yeah, will and talent is a good combination, and Peyton Silva obviously is a pretty big piece for them too.
Well, Peyton became a very good player in March of last year after being inconsistent for a lot of the year. I think Peyton's problem as he developed last season was trying to be what he's not. Not a great outside shooter. Then don't do it.
Right.
Or move a little closer. And I think that Peyton can shoot from 16, 17 feet. He's not a three-point shooter. I think Rick Pitino probably had to be convinced to let him do that, to stop forcing the issue from three, let him shoot from where he's comfortable. As long as he can shoot 16, 17-foot shots and be reasonably consistent and make defenses play him honestly from that level, then he can get by them into the lane where he does a lot of damage.
Now, you mentioned Pitino. He's obviously one of the premier coaches in America. Just talk to me a little bit about what he's able to do with the talent that he has.
Well, first of all, he's a great developer of talent. He does that very well. Especially in terms of conditioning, making his players be in great condition. That makes very good players a lot better by being in great condition. And then he develops skill as well. Gorgui Dieng went from a player who was almost a non-player when he walked in the door to a guy who could help a little bit to a guy who was a significant defensive presence. And by the end of last year was making big baskets as well. So he's developed all along that way from his time entering Louisville. And I think that this year he'll take another, I don't think he'll take a huge step,
right,
but I think he'll take another half step or three-quarter step toward being an excellent player.
Now, Pitino's known for having his teams press a lot, and Louisville does press. How's their half-court defense look to you?
Their half-court defense, he's relied a lot more on zone than he once did. The zone has worked for him very well. Dieng is a very significant presence in the middle of that zone. And it allows them to press and then retreat to a set position rather than pressing and having to find somebody.
Right.
So it makes you more difficult to score against in the first few seconds after you get back into the half court.
Gotcha.
They don't press all the time to take the ball from you, and I think that's another thing that really helps them. Sometimes they just press to annoy you.
Right, disrupt your rhythm, that kind of thing.
Yes, cut your time down on the shot clock. Instead of having 35 or 30 seconds to set up a shot, maybe you only have 20 or 25. Makes a difference, especially when the other team is playing zone. Now you have to find the gaps. You don't have as much time.
Key weakness or key thing they're going to have to overcome to achieve all they can this year?
Well, I think the first thing is Siva making sure that that's who he is. The March Siva is the November, December, February, etc. Siva, and certainly want to be the April Siva as well. That's the key weakness, I think. We only saw 1 month of that.
Right.
And we have to see 5 months for them to be a great, great team.
And finally, biggest impact newcomer for this team?
Well, Montrezl Harrell. And he fits great into what Rick Pitino wants to do. He is a high-energy player. He is a shot blocker. He is a rebounder. He will not demand the ball a lot, which is great because they've got lots of guys who want to score. So I think that he is the most significant addition. And hey, he's not the only one. Luke Hancock, who transferred in from George Mason, another guy ready to play at a high level. Luke is an excellent shooter. And a very versatile player. So they've got a lot of new guys who will make a difference.
Be very interesting to see what Rick Pitino can do with all that talent. For Mike DeCourcy, I'm Tom Vandervoort. Thanks for watching.